Morning all, it's hello again, I'm Tim and this is How to Murder I can't be bothered to start that again. This is How to Murder Feet, my increasingly rambling hiking video holiday snapshot series that some people might still be watching. If you are, well done. I'm Tim. I've forgotten how these go. I haven't been out here since last time I was here was September, I believe, last year, September 2024. Gosh, a lot's happened since then, but not on the hiking thing. You might have seen a bonus Ben near this day in the feed, but no, I'm back in Suffolk. This is Bawdsey. Well, that's Bawdsey Island. Well, Bawdsey. Is it island? It's not an island, really, is it? Bawdsey Manor over there somewhere. Anyway, this is the Felixstowe Ferry. I don't know. Oh, that's the Felixstowe Ferry, which I'm not using because the England coast path hates me. So instead today we're going up there. Anyway, I should probably do a map bit a bit later, but anyway, this is a sort of preliminary thing. You might be noticing the waistcoat of authority on at the moment. Because I'd like to introduce you to a new member of the team. I haven't come up with a name for it yet. That's my bike. That's the one I've been fixing up over winter and practicing learning to ride again. Yes, I've just cycled 15 miles from Melton train station over there somewhere. Melton, I checked, it's not the pork pie place. I don't even think I go to the pork pie place, I think that's inland. So in a bid to, largely because there's just no public transport out here at the moment, certainly going north it's all very patchy for the times and dates I'm actually doing this, so in a bid to increase my self-sufficiency I brought along a bicycle. Threw it in the back of my car, back seats fold down, hatchback, fits in quite neatly. It's a little small for me, to be honest. Oh, and a mudguard was, I wonder what that noise was. I'll tighten that up. But yes, so this is the decoy bike. I've actually got two bikes. I bought myself a brand new decent one, 300 quid, Carrera Vengeance from Halfords or something, and I've been using that to cycle to work. That's quite a nice bike. It's got like front fork suspension and disc brakes and all the clicky gears and stuff. This has already been stolen once. My dad found it and gave it to me. He found it in a police auction and not at the bottom of a canal as I'd previously suspected. So it's already been stolen once and recovered, and its owner couldn't be bothered to pick it up. So here we are. It now belongs to me. So I spent a lot of winter fixing it up. The idea of this bike is that it's superficially shit and worthless, but I've actually spent quite a bit of money fixing bits and pieces on it. Probably a lot more than the bike's worth. So it's had new tyres, new brake blocks, new crank set. That took some work. I had to get my dad to help with that because he's got a workshop and I don't. It's got a couple of new spokes, it's got new rim tape, that's all gone round. The lights I've added, the mud guards, etc. And the idea is that I've cycled that from the car, which is at the finish line today at Melton station. I'll get the maps out and we'll do a proper map bit once I get going. But I cycled on the inland road route, 15 miles. It took about an hour and 50 minutes, which is not bad actually, considering I really don't do... I mean, I have been doing a bit of cycling over winter, but that's been to and from work, and that's a mile each way. So I'm seriously wondering if I'd even managed to do this. It's gone wonky, whatever that is, and he's tightening. Yes, I had real dubious thoughts about whether I'd manage a 15-mile bike ride cold into the first day of the first hike of the year. But yeah, I'm all right. Knees are aching a little. Not nearly as bad as off the back of Ben Nevis, where I couldn't actually operate my knee joints for a while. That did recover, I'm fine, but yeah. So this is very much the bicycle of Theseus. In fact, I may even call it that, since it needs a witty name. This is a new member of my team. So the idea is that I've cycled this here 15 miles. I'm going to sit around, I'm probably going to that cafe and have a lemonade and sit down for a little bit, but then lock it up on one of these railings somewhere around here, and then go and walk up the river. This is the River Deben. I believe it's called Deben, not Devon, but I've been wrong with pronunciation before and called out on it several times, so that's something to look out for. Up to the head of this river basically, and then back down the other side because I'm not allowed to use that ferry. According to the Gov UK National Trails England Coast Path map stages, again I'll do a map bit and show you those bits of paper later as well. Felixstowe back around the corner there, we're not going to see that again. We're going onwards. So this week, I'll explain in more depth in the map bit, but in this week is the last mucking about with these stupid rivers in Essex / Suffolk that I'm going to have to do. There's this one, which is a day up and a day back just to get to that other side of the bank there. And then there's another weird snaky loopy one that's in the fens over that way, right near Orford sort of way. And at the end of that, and the end of this week, is Aldborough. And then beyond that, it is straight coast for pretty much all the way up to the Humber. There's bridges right at the mouth of all the rivers that there are from here on up. Not this week, this week's just going to be another meandering mess, frankly, but the week after, which I'm planning sometime around late July, early August maybe, mid-June, mid-July possibly, early June, perhaps, I don't know, haven't thought it all out yet. But the next week is essentially going to be Aldborough to Cromer, which is just going to be straight up the coast in a big straight line, back like I used to do in the olden days when it was a coast walk. But at the moment it's a river walk this week. So yes, so I'm just going to scout out the place. I need to change into my adventure shirt. This is just a woolen under, which seemed more appropriate for cycling. My high-vis jacket. Oh, I've got blinky lights as well. They stopped blinking, oh dear. Battery ran out somewhere along the way. It's been broad daylight all day, so they haven't really been that helpful. But the idea was that they were going to add a little bit of visibility to the endeavour. No, they've drained somewhere along the way. Never mind. Got the charging cable in the hotel. I'm in a hotel again this time. No tents. Right, so I'm going to sit down and find a pint of lemonade or something to replenish my fluids and just rest a little bit. See, I was really worried about the cycle ride, but that came off okay. I'm all right, but I'm wondering what the cumulative effect of essentially 5 10-mile bike rides as well as the normal walking itinerary is going to do to me. Cycling and walking use somewhat different muscle groups in the leg, in my experience, but they all draw from the same core stamina, which is the main worry. But there's a hotel with, bed and breakfast and everything, and they've got a decent restaurant for the evening meals and stuff. So I'm going to be living in relative luxury for the times I'm not on the trail. So I'm hoping that'll all compensate, but we'll see. Anyway, time to crack on with it all. Speak to you again soon. Yeah, it looks easy and convenient and fun, and probably would save me 2 days. Hey ho. Excuse cough. Probably have not pressed record until I coughed. I had about 2 weeks ago, I had a flu or a COVID or a cold or something. It took me off work for 2 days. So, it felt very much like when I did actually have COVID during the main pandemic. Felt like a resurgence of that. So maybe that's going round again, the milder variants that are out and about now, that are with us forever. I didn't test. Who tests for COVID now? And what would you do if you turned up positive? Just shrug and get on with it, I suppose. Anyway, nice to be out and about. Making a start along the actual path now. I saw something saying Stour and Orwell Walk, which I thought we'd done with on the previous rivers. You can just about see some cranes from Felixstowe, the very distance there. But I think we're not going to see much of that more today. It's an entirely different river that points at a different angle. Lots of people about today. It's busy. Lots of cyclists too. I'm one of them. Well, was. Yes, still nervous about yammering away to myself when people are in earshot. It's something that's never going to leave me, I think. So basically following this all the way up. I'll stop and get the maps out at some point, obviously, but for now, just getting on with it. I was worried about the bike ride. I didn't think I'd maybe actually be able to do it at all, but I did, and I'm okay. But also worried it would not really impact on my ability to then walk 12 miles, which is what today's itinerary is. But it's okay. I feel like I'm starting having already done 3 or 4 miles. Feels like I normally feel 3 or 4 miles into it instead of at the very start. But I don't see it as a problem, not for today anyway. Ask me again at the end of the week, because I've got another 4 bike rides to do as well as 4 hiking stages. We'll see. This is a big experiment this week, but if it works, then that's great, because it means I'm utterly self-sufficient at that point. And it only took me about an hour and 50 minutes, which the alternate travel route would have taken as well. It said I'd have to do it Monday, not Sunday, which is no good to me, but if I did do it on Monday, it still would have taken about 2.5 hours. So go to Ipswich, change train, go back to Felixstowe, etc. So it's comparable. Much more flexible though. Just had to stop and record this. Look at that. Fantastic, isolated. I wanted to say barn, but it's got a cupola. Oh no, it's a chimney. I thought it was a cupola. It's an odd place for a bell tower. Yeah, it's a remote farm building, swept in the moor, the fens there. Love it. Yeah, we're in for some glorious weather this week. This is typical of what I'll be experiencing all week, I imagine. I'm going to point directly at the sun. There you go. Yeah, we're sort of talking 15 to 23 degrees through the day up to the high point, and cooling winds, which is lovely. And that's the suntan slap on, which I've just done. And I think there might be pollen about, but it's not my sort of pollen. My sort of pollen's grass usually, which is late June, so we're all good. But it's going to be much of this, I think, for today. And tomorrow, come back down the other side. Well, the other side is a right old mess. I might get a lot of, looking at the map, there's probably a lot of inland detouring to be looking at. Oh, well, let's do the map bit then before I forget. Well, there's a big gap in the traffic. Actually, there's less people about now that I've got further away from a convenient car park. This is often the way. Not many people are walking as far as I do, but I do have to be. Right, hang on, I'll come back in steady cam mode. Oh, am I still recording? I think I managed to push start there somehow, sorry. Apologies again, as ever, for the violent motion sickness many of you are going to suffer. My hugely inexpert camera work, which you'd have thought would have gotten better over the 7 or so years I've been doing this. I think it's largely a function of the phone I'm using, to be honest. But anyway, let's have a look. So, it's a bit windy, I don't want to lose these. Here's today's bit of paper, printed from the Gov UK England Coast Path thing. There we go, on down at the bottom there, Felixstowe Ferry. Just done some loopy bits here. And we're just going to head on up. It's mostly along the shoreline, but there's a bit of inland detouring. Up to Melton at the top, where my car hopefully still is. Train station there, the black dot in the centre. Then tomorrow is all back down the other side, pretty much to where we were just across the ferryway there, which is fine. Let's have a look at the ones as well. This is tomorrow, and this is the day after. Well, there's three sections on here. It's not going to hold still, is it? So from Bawdsey at the bottom, all the way up to, a small channel that I'm going to have to not use a ferry on as well. Butley Ferry, not using that. Up to Chilesford, small village. Not sure what I'm going to do for parking in there. I have to play it fast and loose, I think, there. Then the day after that is back down to Orford. Around the corner to Orford there. We're not going on to Orford Ness, although there are ferries, and that would make life easier and quicker as well. No, we're staying inland. So Orford Ness is like, I have to do some Wikipediaing before we get there, because that's like a lot of British atomic weapons research went on there. Probably not the actual exploding nuclear bombs or anything, but like trigger mechanisms and other kind of non-nuclear prep stuff, I imagine, went on there. Anyway, then we go up to Snape Maltings, which is a great name. Snape, I don't know, one of these, yes, there. That'll be tomorrow. So that's going to be a long day. That's about 18 miles of big loop there. Well, only 5 miles on the bike ride from start to finish to start. So trading bike for extra walking that day. And then the half day after that is just from Snape to Aldborough, where I'm going to finish the week. And then from there, it's basically straight up the coast all the way to Cromer and beyond, and round to Skegness eventually, without any serious inland detouring or river nonsense. So, but that's a thing for another week. Let's just stick those away. Let me get a proper map out as well, just so you can get a wider perspective on all this. Although you are all quite tech-savvy people who are capable of using Google Maps yourselves, I'm sure. Ow. 2 maps today. Let's see. So we got. That's the other one. This is the first one. 197 Ipswich, Felixstowe and Harwich. And we've done most of that already. Oh, come back, carrier bag. Bit of a breeze today, for which I'm thankful actually, because that helps keep me cool. Anyway, yeah, so we did all of that last time, all this nonsense zigzagging, and we got to here. Now we've got to go up there, come back down there, and around there. That's the part of England I'm in, orange bit there. So yeah, basically this week, this week will take us about halfway up the second one of these, but then after that, I can go from Aldborough all the way up to Cromer, probably in 1 week, and then all the way round to Skegness maybe the week after. Who knows? There's Woodbridge and Saxmundham. There's all sorts of Viking long burials. We're going to pass Sutton Hoo tomorrow. I don't know if we're going to go in, because, you know, I don't visit stuff. I just walk past, but famous for an entirely, almost intact Viking longboat buried in the mud, full of artefacts that they all dug up. Oh dear, I'm having a carrier bag wind nightmare now. Tell you what, I'll stop recording and I'll talk to you again soon. Press pause for more information. There's a lot of reading here, but I think it's basically about how they're using They're developing up some sort of ecological, environment-friendly watering and irrigation system for the farmland around here. Instead of just taking it from the drinking water main. Yeah. I'm not sure how they... Okay, yeah, you have to pump it back out again. Yeah, because you can't just pump salt water out of these tidal salt marshes and pour it on the fields. You have to do something with it first, filter it or desalinate it in some fashion. Anyway, it's a useful overview map of where we are. Just cycling through all of this down here. You can see Felixstowe, Shotley Gate. I went there yesterday after I got to the hotel and had a couple of hours to spare. Drove up to there to have a little look around, just stare out at the harbour. Great. Oh yeah. Okay, it doesn't actually tell me much. It just tells me that I have to go that way. I knew that. As ever, you know, just follow the path, keep the sea on your right, or the river in these cases. I'm quite looking forward to being done with this area. I don't know if it's fair to say it outstayed its welcome. It's just, you know, it's the miles that are in front of you. You've got to do the miles that are in front of you with a job like this. A task, a quest fashion, whatever I'm calling it nowadays. It's a slow pan, sort of. And this is, yeah, I mean, this is Suffolk, but it's very typical of Essex as well. Very similar topography, very similar geology, a lot of other ologies. We grow a lot of leaf bag salad stuff around here. Saw some of that as I was cycling up. And yeah, potatoes as well. I think we'll see more of that as we go north. Lincolnshire potatoes. Potato. Not seen any ECP signage today, although I saw a bit as I was driving up actually. Some of the points where my road route here crosses some points where I was on the path. Did see a few new signs that weren't there last autumn. But yes, today just following these. Stour and Orwell Walk, I suppose. I thought that stopped at Felixstowe because this is not the Stour or the Orwell, so maybe it continues on and catches this river as well. If so, that's good because that means there's a maintained public footpath I can follow. Keeping an eye out for the hogweed as well. Don't want to get all blistered up like last time, or the time before, whichever. It's quite well maintained so far. One of the Google suggested several routes for my bike ride this morning. I took the longest one in the end because the shortest one actually came this way down this path, and I really don't want to be cycling along the path I'm then going to spend all day walking along. Plus this looks like hard going on a bicycle, grass and mud and stuff. I'd rather be on the road really. And the other route it suggested, which was even shorter, was the other side of the river, and then it involved getting the ferry to the start point once I got there, which as you've seen is running, but I mean it kind of defeats the point of bringing the bike and doing it this way, is that I want total independence of any kind of public transport timetabling. That ferry might not have been running today, and if I'd have got down to the other side, found it was cancelled or not running today for whatever reason, bloke was sick or, you know, engine failure or whatever, I would have to cycle another 10 miles back to the car and then another 15 miles back to where I was going to go originally. So no, I'm quite pleased. I think it's working. I mean, I'm not feeling that a 15-mile bike ride has absolutely destroyed me for the 12-mile walk I now have to do. And we'll see how it goes over the week. But yeah, so far so good. Excellent. Right, I'm going to get my head down and just do some trudging for a bit on the side of the river. Looks like it goes right up against the river now, away from the salt marsh. Salt marshes are a bit depressing. They're an interesting landscape. But they're only interesting at high tide. When they're at low tide, they're horrid because it's just smelly mud and tiny little channels in between. It just looks really grim. Sort of place livestock goes to die, you know? But a high tide tidal river is beautiful. All these little boats bobbing away, a couple of sails going up. It's a Sunday, so they'll all be out and doing it, enjoying the weather. Yeah, I mean, I could have been out here a month earlier actually, because I was all set to go as soon as the clocks changed. But I was sorting the bike out with bits and stuff, so all good. I think my basic plan this year is probably try to get out here every 6 weeks until, you know, autumn time. Ideally 4 trips, probably end up as 3, but we'll see. I want to do at least 3 trips because my trips tend to be shorter than the olden days in Cornwall with a backpack, you know. Used to do the full 6 or 7 day trips then, and tend to do 4.5, 5 ones now, so a bit less bit less achieved each trip, so more trips are needed. But yes, it's been a funny old winter. The old, what the hell did Shakespeare call it? The Dark Lady or the Black Dog or something? Depression, mental illness. Struck a little, minorly. I pulled through, but winter time's always hard for me. Really, I don't get out enough. I don't do this enough, and I do need this, it seems. So yeah, I haven't really done enough training over winter. I've eaten too much over winter. Didn't do enough bike rides as well. I was worried I wouldn't be able to do 15 miles because I haven't done anything like that over winter. I'm all right. But yeah, just really good to be back out here again, doing what I love. And I do. I genuinely do. It's amazing. May look unremarkable bit of earthwork seawall to you, but this is my raison d'etre really. The rest of the time I'm just dormant. I'm shut off, turned off, getting on with the day to day, going through the motions, the rat race, etc. Sometimes I feel like I'm not really even alive until I'm out here again. It's a bit maudlin. Gonna walk for a bit. Cat-candid, wow, you stupid bird. Cat-candid wildlife photography. Can't even track it. It's gone. Where are you? It was an interesting bird, which I now can't seem to. There it is. It was hovering, doing this really cool, like cinematic thing. Now I've lost it again. Oh, I can't even track it close enough to zoom and identify. It is. Yeah, it's doing the hover again. Otherwise I wouldn't be able to track it at all. That's a 20 times zoom. I'm not quite sure I can identify the species. It almost looks like a sort of owl. I don't know. Yep, there it goes. Right. Yeah. Don't give up your day job, David Attenborough. It was 99 earlier this week, I think, or last week. Remarkable. He's still out there, he's still doing it. Gives me hope for this kind of nonsense. I'm not quite sure he walks as far as I do on the average day these days. Let's see if I can zoom on a boat successfully. Ah, there we go. Living the dream. That's what we all should be doing, living the dream. I'm living my dream right now. Yeah, that people are on mountain bikes coming this way. Maybe Google was right. Doesn't look that hard going, I suppose, but I'm a novice. Fishing guys. Not aware of an e-bike either. Oh, I don't hold with that. Predictably enough. It's definitely cheating e-bikes. I had a go on my dad's e-bike once. I was doing 30 miles an hour uphill, and a sort of one in, and on a sort of 30-degree incline upwards, and it didn't. It couldn't feel it at all. So cheating. Thought about getting an e-bike for this kind of nonsense, but I do worry about the bike theft aspect of it all, which is why I've bought Theseus, the bike of many shitty parts. Hoping no one can be bothered to tackle the rather rugged Halfords lock I've put on there. Hopefully it'll still be there when I get back today. So I'm reckoning, at the moment I'm thinking about 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock finish PM. Plenty of time to then jump in the car, poot or back round and go and retrieve the bike, and still be back to the hotel for dinner time. They serve from 6 through to like 8:30 or something. So. But the whole idea of the bike and other arrangements is that I need to decouple from any kind of schedule. I need to be able to do this whole exercise on my own time schedule. Not worry about being late for a pickup or a connection or a closing, something or other. The ferry. And I think I'm pretty much there. I think I've pretty much achieved it. And not the end of the world if I miss dinner, if I'm really, really late, and I hit sunset, which I think is about 8:30 or 9 today. If I'm still out here by then, well, I'll just go to the garage and get a bag of snacks and then go to my room. So yeah, it's all good. Oh yeah. You can sort of get a better view of the Felixstowe cranes now. Still not far from there, but a low hill in between us and there. Yeah, I had a little look last night. Popped down there before dinner, just had a little evening stroll. There's 3 massive boats in the process of being loaded. I guess time is money in that place. You never want an empty dock. You know how long it apparently takes to load and unload each of those boats. Right. Do like a danger sign. Ratchets up the thrill of the day a little bit. Heavy plant machine working on beach. I mean, it's not even really a beach here, maybe high tide perhaps. Large concrete structures, I like a bit of brutalist concrete. It was a sad blow to me the day they demolished the Tricorn Centre in Portsmouth. I thought that should have been preserved for eternity. Certainly could have lasted that long. Well, apart from obviously the concrete cans. I'm seeing some sort of replacement outflow going in there, I guess. Oh, that hydro farming thing on the board back there. Yeah. Cool. I'm very pleased with this maintenance. Look at this. I mean, this grass is still slightly green, but a bit crispy. So I'd put that maybe a week ago. Somebody came through here with a ride-on lawnmower and just blasted the thing. And I don't know. I'm in two minds in a way. I do like natural nature, but also I don't like being stung by hogweeds every 2 miles, blistering up. That section around the Harwich, north of Harwich, that was not Harwich, Walton on Naze, yes, between Walton and Harwich. It was, yeah, I did come up with a lot of facial blistering and forearm blistering, which was unpleasant. I do like a bit of maintenance on these so-called national trails. It's good. I approve. Actually, very difficult to get lost too. Now, I mean, somewhere up ahead it does go inland a bit because I don't think we have full shoreline access all the way out to Melton, so I'll keep an eye out for that turning. Otherwise, keep trudging on. I have been meditating on the wonder of the world that is the wheel, one of the great simple machines. And in the light of my transformative and revelatory bicycle ride, I mean, some regular followers, there are such. Will probably remember me being very critical about mountain bikers whilst I was doing the South Downs Way sub-series thing, because they just come up behind you doing about 20 miles an hour and then no bell, nothing, just a whoosh, and then they're a whoosh straight ahead. I've never been hit. I've never actually been hit by a cyclist on a footpath doing one of these, so maybe I'm bleating about nothing, but this morning she was on the other foot really. How the turns of the table. I don't consider myself a cyclist, but I have used a bicycle for more than an hour now today. And it's just astonishing, really. I was really nervous about it all. I thought 15 miles, my God, that's going to kill me. But that was alright. It's like an hour and a bit. Hour and 50 minutes all in the end. I did have to get off and push up a few hills. There are a few small hills far further inland, contrary to what you might guess from this horizon. Yeah, so I'm not on the stay on it and cycle all the way yet, but that'll come, practice I expect. But I think I was out on average about 8 miles an hour, somewhere just between 8 and 9 miles an hour most of the way, which is astonishing. That's 3 times as fast as I'm walking now, and I think that, I mean, Google thought I could do that bit in an hour and 20, so I was actually slower than Google thought. In other words, I'm not even a very fast cyclist. Lots of cyclists out and about today, zooming around with the helmets and the lycra and the proper road bikes and stuff. Proper cyclists, not just me sort of huffing along with my high-vis jacket on my police recovery low-end rally style. But yeah, very popular. And also, at some points when I was coming along today, I was on National Cycle Route 1, which we've seen. We saw the start of that in Dover. And we followed it for some small sections across the south of England up to here, and clearly it follows an eastern coastal route where possible on its way to Inverness. But yeah, I was astonished. I mean, it was hard work, I was exerting myself. I wasn't dying, I wasn't absolutely killed by it. And yeah, managing around 8 or 9 miles an hour most of the way. There was long downhill glides where I wasn't putting any effort in at all, and that's all because of the wheel. Wheels, astonishing. I don't know why we don't have wheels, why organic wheels of some sort. I don't know, maybe curl yourself up like a woodlouse and roll down hills. I would say it's about the same amount of exertion that I'm putting in right now, just doing a plodding 2 3/4 miles an hour along this grassy flat bit. And the addition of a simple bicycle, it's a very low maintenance, low complexity machine at the end of the day. You've got bearings on wheels, you've got crankset, chain, brakes, which are optional. not a lot on there, machinery-wise. It's not that a complicated a machine. And yet somehow that is able to magnify my effort by a factor of about 3 in terms of horizontal locomotion for no real extra expenditure. I don't have to put any extra fuel in. I don't have to cram loads of extra ice cream in. I mean, I did anyway, but I tried to have quite a light breakfast this morning because I didn't know if I wanted to be all bloated out with fry up when I was cycling. But I don't know that it necessarily requires more calorific intake for mile to cycle versus walking. I'd have to look it up, I suppose, but just, yeah, I never really sort of sat down and thought about it, but yeah, I mean, it has enabled me to essentially tack on a fast travel return journey for every one of these day stage hikes. I mean, I'm doing the return journey up front instead, but you get the overall point. I can essentially, otherwise, without the bike and with no public transport, I would have to park up down there by the ferry. I would have to walk about 7 miles up today, then do a sign off, hello, see you tomorrow, and then walk the exact same distance back again along exactly the same path to get back to the car, and then somehow find a lay-by 7 miles up here somewhere that had some parking that I could leave the car abandoned in for a day and do the same thing again. It would fundamentally halve my overall progress around the England coast. And given that this is an endeavour that's likely to take me most if not all of the rest of my physically useful life, I don't think I can afford to loop trip any stages. So obviously something has to give. I mean, like a taxi, I suppose, that's the alternative, but I reckon I'd probably be paying 20 or 30 quid's worth of taxi fare, maybe more. I don't even know what standard rates of taxis are. Probably a 15-mile taxi journey every day, in addition to the hotel that I'm, I could be doing without if I had my tent and decent non-wearing out feet. It all starts to add up. So there are ways to do it, but I think I've hit on a good one. But yeah, the bicycle, absolute genius machine. Obviously it evolved into its current form over many years, but just simple application of wheels and gearing as well. The gears are clever, but that came later. I think even if it didn't have gears, it was just a single chain straight onto the sprocket, no gear levers, I'd still be capable of multiplying my physical effort by at least 2, maybe 3 times. And yeah, I say all that. I mean, Google clearly thinks that average cyclists can cycle much quicker than I do. It had 1 hour 20 for that journey. I did it in 1 hour 50, so it took me an additional half an hour. So I guess a decent cyclist who's, trained and experienced and perhaps a better bike, he didn't mind leaving in a hedge, probably do that in the time Google says. So that's more like 4 times multiplication of speed. Possibly getting on for 5 if I really pushed it. If I was a proper sprint cyclist with all the road gear, I don't know. And that's, like I say, there's no petrol tank. I mean, e-bikes are a different thing again. They're sort of half motorbike, half bicycle, but e-bikes are astonishing, but I wouldn't want to leave one of those unattended all day in a beach car park. So, I mean, that really would. I mean, yeah. All these electric scooters people zoom around on. I learned the other day that they're actually illegal for private use. They're only legal if you've rented one. Yeah, odd. Some sort of arcane liability that I don't really understand. But yeah, bicycle. I'm coming around. I'm changing my mind about bikes. I still don't think using a bicycle to do this here right now is allowed. This is still, despite whatever logistics I've come up with this time, this is still me walking the England coast. That's the whole point of the exercise. I mean, the thing is, I think I was thinking about it, and I can probably, if conditioned, experienced, trained, exercised and so on, I could probably manage 50 to 70 miles a day on a bike. So in other words, I could do this whole distance. I mean, I can't right now, no, it'd do me, but if I were fit enough, if I had the decent gear and knew what I was doing a bit more, it could be theoretically possible to achieve 50 to 70 miles on a bicycle in a day. Still have time to sit and have lunch, And 70 miles is my entire itinerary for this whole week. Do that in a day, So yeah, obviously 4 or 5 times faster. But to to be honest, I mean, I have trouble on some stretches of this path just doing it on foot. You know, I think a bicycle would be a bit of an ask for some of the stretches I've been on. No, I'm still want to do the walking thing. I don't consider myself a cyclist yet, I suppose, but they are a very useful tool. I'm definitely coming around to being less grumpy about them. Right, let's get some mileage done. Speak to you again soon. Yeah, lovely country pub there. Let's go for the full zoom 20 times. Roast beef, turkey dinner. Look at that car park. Sunday lunch in full swing. Well, I mean, here's me with no bridge as well. But that is pretty much perfectly placed for lunch tomorrow because I'm coming down that shore heading the other way. So, although I don't know if it's going to be open because that'll be Monday then. A lot of pubs in this part of the world don't open on a Monday or Tuesday. They just open at the weekend, get that trade, and then just don't bother. Lack of traffic or whatever. Who goes out to the pub on a Monday night? Determined functional alcoholics, clearly. Affluent ones as well, most of those stay at home with a 24 pack. Yeah. You don't hear people calling it a cost of living crisis much anymore because I think it's just normalised itself, you know, it's that's the new normal, it's just what it is now. And I don't think it's gone away, no. A lot of pubs closing. I saw back at the Ferry place where I've locked the bike up, there was a pub there, Ferry Boat Inn or something, and I was going to go in there for a lemonade just earlier today, and no, it had closed since I was last there, closed since September. Shut down, gone. Apologetic sign on the door. Quite sad really, but I guess if you don't use these things you are going to lose them. Still, there we go. So yeah, we'll see if that's open tomorrow. If not, well, I'll just carry on trudging on, I guess. Although looking at the map and plans for tomorrow, there's a path to the left, but to the right it stops. Much of that seawall is all broken up and stuff, so I think I'm probably going to hit that pub and then have to head inland and trudge along roads to get back down to the end. I'll be glad to be done with these rivers, to be honest, because apart from anything else, they seem to be quite poorly served in terms of paths, you know, maintenance and so on. It's like the ECP, it's all very well the ECP, you know, National Trails part, you know, drawing a red line on a planning map up and down here, and most of it does have paths, existing paths, but a lot of it doesn't. And who's mad like me? Who's determined to do it properly? Who's set themselves rules that they're not going to cheat on? I mean, why not just take that ferry over there? It's probably only like £7. Takes less than 5 minutes, I imagine, to cross. Stick to the actual coast. I don't know. I feel like someone's gone to the trouble of actually doing the planning applications and arguing with pissy landowners about public access and doing all of that, going through it all and putting a signage up and, you know, running along here with a lawnmower sometimes. Then, you know, at least somebody ought to try and hike it. You know, somebody ought to be a final beneficiary, an actual customer of all this. That's what I try to do. Try to, you know, use the effort that's gone into this stuff. But the effort is variable, as I'm finding. So yeah. Oh, that's lovely. Hey ho, let's crack on. Still plodding on. Coming round into an inlet, and I think on the far side there is no path. Gonna have to consult on my various maps and work out what the plan is here. I think the ECP itself does divert inland somewhat from here anyway. It's all just marsh and those weird oaks that like to sit right on the edge of a salty river. It's sort of tidal. I imagine it's tidal all the way up to Melton, to be honest. Given that the Thames is tidal all the way up to like Richmond or something. Yeah. Oh yeah, there you can see seaweed in there, and that's obviously salty. Yeah, anyway, so yeah, follow this around to the end and then up, and then I suppose I trudge off across those fields. I'm guessing it's all going to be marked up, there'll be existing footpaths. That does tend to be the ECP's thing, really. They're quite happy to use a footpath if it's already there, but they're quite reluctant to make their own new ones. Right. Yeah, follow this around and get the maps out and have a bit of a sit down and a drink, I think. Looks like steps, sort of pipe work or something over there. That'd be a good place to park my arse for 15 minutes or so. I'm going, well, what's the time? It's 12:51. So yeah, I said about 11, I think I'd be walking for about 2 hours, but obviously the bike ride has added a bit of a toll, but I'm alright. No real worries about not finishing today, certainly. But yeah, probably time for a sit and drink. It's about 20 odd degrees, 22, something like that. The wind's a blessing. And yeah, the hot point of the day as well, so I'll find a shade to go and sit in for a little rest, some water, keep the hydration going. Didn't really drink a lot on the bike, didn't seem to need to. The thing with the bike is it generates its own wind. As long as you're pushing a good 5 to 8 miles an hour, you get a fairly decent amount of airflow over you the whole way through. Dressing sensibly as well helps. These trousers might be a bit heavyweight for cycling. That's probably an improvement for next trip. Some dedicated cycle wear for those stages instead of just whatever I happen to be wearing. It's not so heavy it wouldn't go in the bag for the day of the actual hike. Yeah. So it's kind of artificial. Well, obviously this bank, is artificial. There's miles and miles of this stuff and you forget it's the work of human hands, or traction engines or steam shovels or whatever the hell they had. Probably serfs. It probably predates the Industrial Revolution. I don't know, that's what it's made of. It gets reinforced over the years by more modern techniques and materials, but fundamentally this seawall would have been here for hundreds of years. And yeah, the work of human hands gives it this sort of weird regular shape, this sort of square-like bay. Bed there. Wildlife habitats. Not really much reason to come up sailing into this. Really quite shallow as well. It's almost like an accidental waterway. It's not about the waterway at all. It's about these fields needed to be preserved. It's that exclusion, not inclusion. The fact you end up with this is just an accident. Presumably you'd push it even further back if there wasn't underlying hydrology at work that meant that you couldn't really empty this one. Let's go to Holland one day, see it from space, and you compare it to like Holland as when I was a kid on the space maps, atlases and stuff. They're just bringing whole districts out of the sea in that country. Farming on it, villages in the middle of each piece. Yeah. Right, onward. Onward to a rest. Yeah. The low-lying Fensgate bit here. This is cool. I do need to take a left soon though, because otherwise this goes onto a causeway that has a massive break in it, and I'll have to double back anyway. I'm not going to move for dancing across flowing rivers at the moment. Don't have my waders. Somewhere up here it goes left into a village called Hemley with an M. And then I have to go inland quite a way before it rejoins the shoreline, probably back up at Woodford, yeah. Woodstock? I don't know. The noontime heat is getting to be a little. Just have to keep drinking. It's fine. For goodness, this wind, that's all I want to say. Perfect direction and speed and temperature. Keeping me alive. Say, no through route. Yeah, I already knew that. I looked at maps. But yes, good to know. Someone's snapped the sign off as well. Normally that would make me cross, but I think in this case it's probably justified. Yeah, natural erosion. Oh, Suffolk and Coast Heath's area of outstanding natural beauty. I can't argue with that. It is indeed. Right, this way and then a left up some country lane, and then we'll work it out from there. Yeah, it goes along that dune sort of. Yeah, I can see the gaps that go already, but there's a gap further along that's got a big river running out of it. So yeah, I'll try a few inland country lanes for a bit. This is nice. Long line of I don't know, some sort of fir, pine, something, dwarf pine, Scots bonnet. No, that's a chili. Oh, they're very, very pleasant, whatever they are. On a bit of an inland detour. You can see the river still, that's good. I was around Bawdsey right here. I haven't seen much of that this year. I don't know if I've just not been paying attention or people are not sowing as much. Doesn't seem like there's, normally this time of year there's tons of stuff everywhere. But yeah. Quite a cloying scent coming from it all. I'm in there. Not sure I'm hay fevery for that stuff, but it's definitely distinctive. Alright, so we follow this and zigzag a bit, and then we end up in a small village up ahead. Waldringham, maybe? I don't know, maybe I remembered that wrong. That has a little seafronty bit, little short riverside shoreliney bit, and I'm hoping there's a pub. I'm probably about halfway through today, if you don't count the bike ride, and do a bit of a sit down and a pint of lemonade, maybe have a cheeky bag of crisps. See how we're getting on. Otherwise, it's just keep trudging, really. So I think this meets a road up there, and then I turn off to a side track. It's tricky to stay on target. Particularly these inland detours. I've not seen any ECP signage at all today so far, so not on the bits I'm walking on anyway. So I'm going to use my wits a bit. Drive up land. Fair enough. Shall I argue? I don't want to be a trespasser generally, but I have got a mission to achieve, and nothing will come between me and its successful completion. Gosh, that was a bit intense. I'm going to contemplate things for a bit. Lovely tree-lined avenue approach to a house here, which I'm still reasonably sure I'm allowed to be along. Heading back towards the river now. It's good. I get nervous when I'm too far away from open water. What's the name for that? Terraphobia? I don't know. Yeah, go on, and then I don't know. Look for signs, I suppose. Just wing it as usual. Still a glorious day. Some nice tree examples along here. Private collection, maybe. The eucalyptus. I don't know. Terrible at this sort of thing. Talking about it with archaeology, history, pronunciation, geology, just lots of things really. To reflect on what I'm actually good at for a bit. Speak again soon. That's good. I have a lot of respect for farmers who do this. They just plough the whole field over and plant it and hope people bugger off, but no. Taken some effort to make the footpath still visible and accessible. We ran over it a few times with the tractor into the planting. Anyway, this looks like barley, I think. Got the long feathery wisps off the stalk. Beautiful shimmer to it. I don't know if it's spring barley or winter barley. I think it might just be. I don't know if those are different breeds or whether that's just a question of when you planted it. Anyway, that's good. Plod on. Yeah, I just like that silken shimmer. It's quite hypnotic. Okay, I'm going to stand here motionless for the next 45 minutes. No, just kidding, I will stop recording. Alright, bonus round on what crop is that? I reckon this is corn, mostly because of its distinctive blue-green texture, colour there. It's very bluey very blue on the blue end of green. But I always get confused with corn on the cob and sweet corn. Or maize. Two completely different plants that are often just called corn, you know. Doesn't help. Alright, so there's a forest ahead. This is full of bandits. Carousing merry men. Actually, I have a long way to go before I get to any kind of Robin Hood type country. Like Yorkshire, I think. Well, I shall be passing through some place called Robin Hood Bay at some point when I get that far. Interesting. Probably no musical banditry in this forest though. So I follow the path, so if it's marked out like this, I'll have no trouble. This is very good. I really appreciate a well-maintained public footpath on a farmer's land. Farmers get a lot of stick. Everyone assumes they're grumpy old carrot crunchers, you know, get off my land, shotguns and all. And some of them are. some of them are quite spiteful when it comes to public access and rambling and footpaths and so on, but a lot of them are quite proud custodians of our country heritage, including footpaths. So, you know, I use not to tar everyone with the same brush, as in most things in life. Oh, I'm getting very sanctimonious. Let's head to the forest. There's a little chalets, boat, beach huts and marina type thing. Sailing club maybe. There's a footpath there, which I've not come for. That tree's lovely. Yes, that's the other end of the one I had to divert around because of the broken seawall. So back on track, back on the coast path now, I think, or what probably should be. Just let's go look at this tree. No idea what sort that is. Right, so we should be able to just follow this around and then up to the village up ahead. Hopefully there'll be an ice cream shop or a pub. Go for that right now. Yes, back on the river. Excellent. Doing well. Well, doing something right anyway. So 2 o'clock. This is Waldring Field. So I'm probably on for a 4 o'clock finish maybe, or perhaps 5 even. Slowing a little. Always want to then put your phone in this bracket and upload the photo to a website. They don't fit my phone, I don't think. Anyway. Good day. All out enjoying the water on a Sunday. Kite surfer there. Trying his best. There's a bit of a shadow there, I think. Like a small club or school of yachts there, racing dinghy things. People enjoying the beach. Now, I hope that means there's a pub or cafe nearby. I mean, it'd be criminal if there wasn't. So let's go and have a look. Let's go and explore, sort of. Well, as long as it's, you know, on a long, narrow stretch that hugs to the coast. Children and swimmers only. Right. Yeah, it's one of the busiest bar I've ever been in. But I'm a patient man. I know what I want. And off we go again. Oh, it's so quiet again now. Loud, raucous pub. Still, not raining. Like a perfect location and perfect conditions and perfect day for a Sunday lunch with family. Lots of people taking it up. I just had me crisps and got out of there, to be honest. John Prettyman Waller Nature Reserve 2015. Private. Right, I'm not going in there. So follow this around to the old loop, get to the far end, take another turn inland because there's a broken seawall. Yeah, look for more country lane stuff, I guess. That's good. Lovely day for it. Aching a little. I don't know that I'm necessarily more done in than I would have been on a normal first day of a week. Much of the bike rides really made much difference, which is good. That's the whole point of this experiment. It's this whole experimental week. It's good. I mean, I'm just as shagged out as I would have been if I'd have taken no bus or train. So I think that's a kind of success. Good. Let's just keep cracking on then. Just saw a heron coming to land there. And ducks near it. I think it came in with another one, but the other one went off somewhere else. That's the head tail crest there. Cool. I saw it at Wildlife. Another one of these, which I must admit I'm finding very helpful. I mean, given that the proposed planned ECP route also doesn't go along there either, I guess there's absolutely no intention in the medium to long term to actually fix any of these breached seawalls. I suppose that's just what the environment is now, which is fine. I think that tower church in the distance might be Woodbridge. Is it Woodbridge or Woodford? I think it's Woodbridge. Melton's round the bend a bit, I think. We ought to find a way inland across all this because there's no more following this for a while. think we rejoin at Martlesham or something, or maybe Woodbridge itself. But yeah, this is the end of the coast path for a little while anyway. Right, let's navigate some country lanes. Just wanted to sneakily capture this wisteria. It's lovely. It'll stay years. Right, anyway, yes, I think I'm looping around here because it doesn't really look like it goes anywhere. Let's follow this. I'll check the map in a minute anyway. So we're heading away. Very good. It's just a short U-turn. Inland trudging. That's nice. It's the blue things. And one of these. Still find this indefinably sinister. But good, if it means there's slow or no traffic, I'll take it. So heading to Martlesham now. This is quite a big inland detour because there's apparently quite a lot of missing seawall between there and there. That's okay, it's the spirit of the thing really. I'd rather line up wading through mud, swimming across tidal channels. As long as I rejoin within a reasonable distance and make a good attempt to adhere to the spirit of the coast, this is good. I mean, the ECP cuts through here somewhere. I think it's, I don't know. The red line pointed off into a field that didn't seem to have any observable footpaths, so I think it might not be ready yet, this stretch. I didn't check the availability for this particular stretch. I think we might be in territory that hasn't been finished yet. Again, which is a common problem. Oh, I can hear a car coming behind me. I better put the phone away and concentrate. Oh, this rosemary's doing well. Yeah, that entire hedge of it. Oh, can't resist a fondle and a sniff. Oh, I really got this thing for rosemary for some reason. Can't stand lavender, very perfumy, but rosemary hits the spot. I don't know why. Previously discussed feshish. Yeah, let's carry on before the neighbours start peering out the windows at me. That's quite distinctive. Cycled past that this morning. Quite close. Actually says BT on there. It's not a cement works like you'd imagine. It's some kind of telecoms thing. Don't know. It's a bit dystopian to me. A window into a parallel alternative reality. Right, well, that means I'm coming up on Martlesham and then it's on to Woodbridge. Good. Right. Just come from in there. Then we go off down here now. Here's some information. Martlesham Wilds. Oh, it's all QR codes now. Welcome to the future. I can't vouch for any of those. Scan them at your peril. Yeah, oh, doesn't say. I know where I need to be anyway. I need to go that way a little bit, then left, and then another zigzag, and then eventually I'll end up on the creek again. That's the idea anyway. And after I reconnect with that creek and get around it, I think it's riverside promenading all the way back to the car. So we pass through Martlesham and then Woodbridge and then Melton. I think it's all like very gentrified river shore path. So that'll be good. No more broken sea walls and inland detours. So there's the problem with these big river days. Most of these rivers don't really have a solid path all the way along them. Hey ho, soon be over. Should enjoy this terrain while it lasts, because like I say, the next trip after I've done Aldborough this week, it's going to be Norfolk coastal dunes all the way up round Cromer and then down to the Wash. So I won't see anything like this again for a long time, if at all. A unique sort of landscape, Suffolk and Essex. I kind of have had my fill of it now, to be fair.